In this video clip, we will talk about the property of functions. The first one we want to look at is increasing, decreasing. What's the meaning for that? If we have an x value, x1 is less than x2, then the value of the function is f of x1 less than f of x2, then we say function is increasing. Now, here is the example we have seen before. In this function, we see 1x equals 1. Then you have a 1 squared is 1. And the 1x is 2 here. You have a 2 squared is 4. So if 1 here we know is less than 2, right here, here, 1 is less than 2, then we have a 1 squared is less than 2 squared. So you can see here 1 squared is 1 is less than 4. So in this case, we have a value goes from the left to the right on this area from 0 to infinity. Then this value goes higher. X goes from 1 to 2. Y value goes higher from 1 to 4. Then we say function is increasing. Function is increasing. In where? From 0 to infinity. That means will be from this lowest point to the right. Function is decreasing, that's opposite. We look at the same example right here. So let me go back. Right here. You see, we have a -2 is then less than -1. That's for sure. Here is -2. Here is -1. And then f of -2 is -2 squared is 4. So you see here the height is 4. And then here, when x is -1, -1 squared is 1. So the height is 1. So from the left to the right, when the values of x go from smallest on the left is smaller value on the left than the value on the right. So from -2 to -1, the height goes from higher to lower. So in this case, we say when the value goes from smaller to bigger, again, -2 is less than -1, the height goes from higher to lower. Then the function will be decreasing. So in this case, we have a decreasing from -infinity to 0. So from 0 all the way to the left, this range or this domain area on x-axis, the height goes lower and lower when the value x goes from the left to the right. From the left, again, is smaller, goes to the right, is bigger. So when x value increase, the y value decrease, then we say, in this case, function will be decreasing. Apparently, here it reaches the lowest point at x equals 0, y is 0. Because you can see when x is 0, 0 squared is 0, either positive or negative, the values are higher than 0. So in this case, we say function f of x, this one, choose the minimum value. Choose minimum value at x equals 0. All right. With those things in our mind, then we can see some practice question. This one is the first one. We want to see where is increasing, where is decreasing. Then it is clear here we know the lowest point is 0 for y when x equals -1. So this point is -1 right here. And what is the decreasing part? The decreasing part will be from -infinity to -1. So then decreasing will be from -infinity to -1. This sounds right. And then, of course, from increasing, function is increasing, then will be from -infinity and -1 to +infinity. So this would be our choice. Right? So that's the similar to the one we did. Okay. Now this one. This one we can see when x choose values from left to the right, the y value goes higher and higher. So basically, you can see here, this part, from -infinity goes higher, and it's increasing. From -infinity goes to -1, it's going like this, that's decreasing. And here is opposite. So from -infinity goes to 0. You can see here, when x is 0, the highest point is this one, is 1. So then here we will see that from -infinity to 0, the function is increasing. And which one is that? From -infinity to 0, increasing. So it sounds this one is correct. This one is correct. This one is correct. And this one is not. Then among all those three, which one is correct? Then you want to see from 0 to infinity, it goes down like this. Like previously, you see, goes down in this way is decreasing from left to right. This trend decreasing. This trend increasing. So then here, from -infinity from 0 to positive infinity is decreasing. So then here we know this one is not written right, because it from negative infinity goes to 0. Here is also from negative infinity goes to 0. This is increasing, it cannot be decreasing. So in this case, it will be the one right here. This is negative infinity, so we do not choose this one. So this will be our choice. From negative infinity goes to 0, you can see the graph is going up. And then from 0 to positive infinity, the graph goes down lower and lower. So we should choose this one. Right? Okay. Now, then we may want to look at the one right here. Third question. The third question, you can see the trend. If the value here goes to the right, you can see the graph goes higher and higher. Here it goes to the higher in a very fast way. Then it slows down, but it doesn't matter because when the value here on the left is less than the value here, we can see the value on the right is higher than the value on the left. So in this case, the increasing trend is like this. From the left to the right, points y goes higher and higher. So in this case, we will see increasing for all real numbers. See the trend. Okay? That will be the answer. Question 4. Question 4 right here is from the left to the right. From the left to the right. You can see when x chooses the value here, this number is very low, very negative. When x reaches this point, the value goes high. So from the left to the right, x value is increasing, and you see the points goes higher and higher. So in this case, we say function is increasing. This point is x value equals 5. So from negative infinity is this trend going up. It's like climbing a mountain, going up. So then from negative infinity goes to 5 is increasing. So it sounds this one and this one are correct. And then between those two, which one we should choose? Here it says again the same area. So on the same domain, it cannot be increasing and decreasing at the same time. And here is from 5 to infinity. So this is 5, from 5 to positive infinity. The value goes lower and lower. Previously, y value is 0. When x is 5, y reaches what? This point is 5, 0. And we know when x is 5, y is 0. When x is greater than 5, those values are negative values for y. Is below the x-axis. coming down. So what we should choose is the one right here. So that will be our question 4. Now, we may want to stop here and make our video clip shorter. I'll see you next time.